I'm James Cole Morrison. I bitch about it and will refrain from our usual introduction for this particular video. I really hope that this review doesn't come across as disingenuous or, in the worst case, comes across as vulturous and sort of feeding off of a man's legacy just for the sake of a couple of dozen sort of views on YouTube. That's certainly not my intention. Believe it or not, I watched this film with my wife about, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was sort of dabbling with the idea of doing a review on it for the Foxy Stokes channel. The only reason I didn't do it was because, well, a lot of the films that I sort of go for are sort of popcorn filler, sort of action packed, like turn your brain off, like enjoy the explosions, 90 minutes to 2 hours sort of thing. And Knives Out was 100% not like that at all. It's very thought provoking, engaging, fantastic murder mystery, brilliantly directed, fantastically cast. Yeah, I didn't think it fit with the tone of our channel effectively, and yeah, I wanted to review lads' films effectively, but I just think with this gentleman's passing, it would be nice if the dozens and dozens of the Morrisonii subscribers and the small building that the Foxy Stokes is sort of getting, if some of these guys went out to see Knives Out, or I encouraged them to see Knives Out, I think that would be a great thing for the legacy of this Christopher Plummer, and I think it's a no-brainer. You'll absolutely enjoy it. So I can't really tell you a lot about this gentleman who passed. I'm not going to pretend I was enthralled or even upset at his passing, but just looking at his filmography, and he was in some pretty decent roles, stuff that you would take for granted. So he was Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music. Absolutely, yeah. Christ, do I even need to say? A brilliant film, pretty much on every other Christmas. And the one credit that really stuck with me, that sort of made me smile, was that he played a villainous Klingon in Star Trek 6. Now, I couldn't tell you the Klingon's name, to be perfectly honest with you, but he was a bold gentleman. The Klingon was bold, and he had an eye patch, and he was completely infatuated with Shakespeare. Like, he couldn't stop quoting Shakespeare, and it was just one of those performances that stuck with me, and I always remember sort of the flair and just a word that's sort of escaping me now, but it's just a flamboyant performance. It really stuck out considering the Klingons are meant to be these like rough and tough, like bastard warrior sort of types. So it was very interesting to see his sort of performance, really. And well, he comes across as effectively a method actor, really. Apart from the Von Trapp performance, where obviously he was a lot more younger and more handsomer, he seems more like a method actor, like Steven Berkoff. Like, he would always play serious roles in theatre, but he would always be like the henchman or the villain, or essentially the sort of second part sort of person. Whilst the sort of the main body of the work was sort of done by the A-list actors, or sort of the pretty people. So he was effectively, from what I can gather, he transformed into a proper actor, effectively, what I would like to sort of be when I grow up. So I mean, that's the best compliment I can sort of give him, and if I'm wrong in that assessment, then so please quote me in the comments and maybe tell me a little bit more about this Christopher Plummer, to be honest with you, because it will be interesting to get to know him a little bit more. But anyway, Knives Out. This was basically a compromise film, and throughout the entire Christmas period, I basically watched a shit ton of action flicks, like a shit ton of explosions, a shit ton of bodies and breasts, and just that heads flying everywhere, and like out of nowhere sex scenes and out of nowhere murder, and just a lot of gore. It's almost like a Christmas tradition. Like, we don't, we have the festive stuff, we have the kiddie stuff, and then we have the proper adult gore shit right afterwards. So this was essentially a compromise with the wife. She wanted a bit of a break, and this film proved to be a really effective palate cleanser. Like, it was a very thought-provoking, engaging whodunit. I never really liked Agatha Christie's work, but that's the best way I can sort of compare it. I always thought Agatha Christie, like, sort of plays of just the caricatures, basically two-dimensional characters, and the only thing that sort of grips you or engages you is the mystery and sort of like placing the puzzle pieces together. Well, this had all that the elements of a good Agatha Christie. It had the mystery, it had the poignancy, and it had the sort of really good performances, great acting. The only thing I will say is Daniel Craig is in this film, and he puts on this really distracting sort of southern accent, like this Kentucky accent, and it's. If any other accent other than an English one comes out of that man's mouth, it's very distracting. Like, bear in mind, he's James fucking Bond, so when he comes, when he sort of first speaks, it's like, what the hell? But other than that, it was a very intriguing, a very thought-provoking sort of play, really. It had this same sort of feel as the movie Clue, and it had fantastic actors and actresses. Oh, sorry, just actors now, beg your pardon. But just a little bit about the plot, I suppose. So basically, the character of Christopher, played by Christopher Plummer, is eventually found dead. Looks like a potential suicide, and there's multiple suspects as to who may have murdered him. And there's this one particular sort of residential nurse who lives with him, and she has this horrific complex or sort of psychological sort of defect where if she lies or attempts to lie, she basically vomits. Like, she feels nauseous and she looks physically throws up. And it actually transpires, and this isn't a massive spoiler, but it actually transpires that she has a hand in the murder or suicide. Well, I won't give too much away. Of the Christopher Plummer character, and she basically has to go. She has to go through this affliction, basically lead the detectives and the private eye, played by Daniel Craig, on a wild goose chase, effectively, sort of destroying evidence and sort of leading them astray. And all the while, we're sort of watching the puzzle sort of slowly sort of piece together and unfold. It's a fantastic film, and I couldn't praise it enough, and unfortunately, yeah, the critics agree. Unlike some of my other reviews, where I sort of give a thumbs up to some utters fucking dreck, according to the critics. So, yeah, full scores on Rotten Tomatoes, as far as I can see, a 97, and IMDb and other critics aren't far behind. And I'm not sure if it won any awards, to be perfectly honest with you. But I wouldn't be surprised. I certainly wouldn't be surprised if a Golden Globe was chucked in its direction, to be perfectly honest with you. One thing I will say, if you ever wanted to see Christopher Evans swear like a sailor, this is the film for you. I loved it. I absolutely love that part. If you could find that one scene where Captain America swears and put it in this review, I'll love you forever. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention this and hopefully encourage people to... I think the wife is trying to show me there is... Oh, a sequel is in the works. So that's fantastic. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, wife. You've just ruined this entire review for talking over it. How dare you? You bitch. The only thing I can say that's a negative is that we watched this 5 days before it was taken off of Amazon Prime. So there's no real easy way to sort of watch this at the moment. It's not on Netflix as far as I'm aware. And unfortunately, even though it is accessible on Amazon, it's not going to be free. So I did see that it was $4.99. I will highly recommend that price. And yes, as told by the wife... I've already ruined this review anyway by umming and ahhing anyway. But anyway, there is a sequel coming, and I would very much be looking forward to sort of seeing that if it has the same amount of characters. What with the ending, I'm not sure how they could make a sequel, but hey, money talks, doesn't it? But anyway, highly recommended by me, and I don't know what's coming up in the future, to be honest with you. All of my Atari consoles are dead, so I'll see if I can figure out how to put some really old school 16-bit games on the Foxy Stokes channel. All else failing, I'll do the dirty E, get some emulation going. But anyway, take care, like and subscribe, folks, and I will see you around. Morrisonii out.